What's going on, guys? Sam with Sam's Man Tree Service. I want to go over a review of my CTX 160 Vermeer. We just got this. I want to go over the pros and the cons. I did have a video out earlier that I was going to post, but I decided not to because I was a little bit starstruck because I got my new machine. I think that video was a little bit biased. So this is a very fair and very honest review, and nothing I'm saying is against Vermeer. It's just I want to see everyone make a better machine. And I am going to be comparing it to the Ditch Witch a little bit because Ditch Witch does some things that Vermeer needs to start doing. Because I really like this machine. I really love this machine though too. So right off the rip, it's a 1,600 pound rated lift capacity machine. In reality, you'll lift 3,200 pretty safely. I wouldn't say safely. You'd lift 3,200, all right? You could probably get a little bit more. I haven't weighed it any more than that. So 40 horsepower turbo diesel. The turbo is fun to listen to. And a big thing is with this machine is you got the weight kit, you got heavy duty arms, high flow, low flow. This is a full size skid steer in a small package, really. Some things I love about it is we got a lot of lift, guys. This thing lifts a lot, and it allows us to drag, let's say, 2 trees out of a yard instead of 1 at a time. It allows us to lift trees that have fallen onto houses because it does reach up like half a foot, maybe a foot more than the Ditch Witch. So I do like that from it a lot. The hill climbing capability. So here's a pro and a con. The weight kit's nice, right? But it cannot climb nothing in forward because it's weighted so far back. Now, putting a weight kit in the back is good because you get a lot of lift and you can climb hills, but it's a little bit more unstable. Ditch Witch puts their weight kit on this machine under the machine. So you have a lot of low weight. It's very stable. It's a very smooth operating left and right machine compared to this. But this will climb a bigger hill. This will lift a heavier load. And this will be more stable with a heavier load on the front. This is not. They have grease fittings. Ditch Witch does not have grease fittings on their machine at all. Not the end of the world. You just got to grease it. They did limit their grease fittings, so there's not many. A guy could grease this thing in 3 minutes. So not the end of the world. Something I don't like is how they design these arms. Straight plate is not very strong, and it flexes and bends very easily. So you see how this plate's straight right here? This will bend. I guarantee it. I 100% guarantee I will have these plates bent. Maybe at the end of the life of the machine, but it's still just like they should have formed like they did up here. They should have formed this down instead of just one piece of plate. Ask any fabricator. That is a weak point compared to this. So the paint, it's obviously a really nice color, but what I don't like is the quality of the paint job. So mind you, this machine's got 40 hours on it. The paint job looks nice, but boy, does it scratch off real easy. We had a stick get caught up in there. Yeah, this thing scratches up very easily. We only got 40 hours on it, right? And you're like, oh, well, Sam, that's not bad. Well, 40 hours, guys. Let me show you. My Ditch Witch has 1,020 hours on it. There ain't no paint missing under here. Not a speck of paint missing. There's a little bit of paint missing here. But boy, I think it's, let's see. I think it's at 1,100 hours. It's at 1,120 hours. Something I don't like is, you see how this radiator cover is? That's great. Keeps a lot of stuff out. You see how this radiator cover is? That does nothing. It does absolutely nothing except for keep your feet from hitting there. I do like this operator platform. It does keep you a little bit more protected. It bangs you up a little bit more. But what I don't like is I can't put a saw here. I understand you don't want a saw there, blah, blah, blah. There's safety concerns. But, listen, we put saws on here, and it's great. I like having a saw on the back. Even a little climbing saw that's not going to disrupt your clearances. Vermeer has 2 fuel tanks. I like that. A little bit more capacity. We can run this thing for 2 full days on 2 tanks. We can only run that on 1 tank per day, if that. Sometimes we got to fill it up throughout the day. That's like a long day, though, guys. The radial lift's nice, so you don't lose any clearance front and back. so it does lift up and go out, so you can load trucks easier. This thing does lift a bigger log. It is nice. It does go faster and forward. So in forward, this thing's pretty fast. In reverse, it's a little bit slower. I don't mind that it's slower, but I really mind that it's weaker. So what does that mean? So when we feed the chipper, guys, we're dragging the branches back and we crank the machine to the side, and we are still in reverse, and we push the butt ends into the chipper. With the vermeer, it's hard to push the butt ends. Oftentimes you're going in reverse, turning, setting them down on the tray, and then coming around, going in forward, and then pushing them in forward, because it does not have as much power in reverse. Now that might be a governed issue. Maybe a pressure's not set right, but if the pressures are set right, I'm a little bit upset that Vermeer made this thing weaker in reverse. You can restrict flow and still have the same power, but if they just governed the pressure, then you have no more power. Something I don't know if I already said this, I really don't like how they have these angled down. That's so stupid. The hoses get pinched. So Ditch Witch has them pointed up, so the hoses don't get as pinched. Good job. So this has the side covers already from the factory, which is nice. Ditch Witch you have to pay extra for, you know. I'm not trying to compare Ditch Witch to Vermeer a whole lot, but here's the one thing that kind of slams home for me that I don't like. The arms are really slow on this machine. So let me start it up. The arms are slow on this machine, and I don't know why. For it having that much horsepower, it should be a much faster machine. So here we go. I'm going to throttle this all the way up. Alright, so about a 14-second cycle time up and down. That's about a 9-second cycle time. Let's see this grapple. Now, all that is, guys, that's just the pressures, and that's the flow. So this thing's cold, that's a little bit warmer. So I think Ditch Witch does some things better. They're two different classes of machines. This one's definitely more productive, but this one it feels like you're driving a full-size skid on a job, where you're not as maneuverable, it's a little bit clunkier, and it definitely lifts more, it can pull more, it does everything more. It's just that one's more fluid. The tracks are the same width and the length as well. So same exact length of the track system. So it's a good machine. I like it. I would buy another one for sure. I definitely prefer the Ditch Witch brand. I feel like they have things just a little bit more fine-tuned. And some of the stuff they do is a little bit, I think, better. So a lot of people were asking me, which one do you prefer? Well, I like them both a lot, but brand-wise, I choose the Ditch Witch brand. Now, the thing with Ditch Witch is, I ordered a Ditch Witch last summer, a 1550. I won't get that 1550 until next fall. So it's a 2.5-year wait for a freaking 1550. That's absolutely unacceptable. Because with that being said, I would gladly order another Vermeer, because the machine could be so much better. But you know what? When the service and the dealer at Vermeer is 10 times better than the service and the dealer at Ditch Witch, I own a tree service. I need to get trees on the ground. I need to get trees cleaned up. What company is going to help me do that? And right now, it ain't Ditch Witch. It's Vermeer. So I do like the Vermeer. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not shitting on the Vermeer. It's a great machine. There's some differences that I think Ditch Witch does better, but at the end of the day, it's a skid steer with a warranty, and they're going to fix it. So Ditch Witch service is actually really, really good too, guys. Don't get me wrong. We had an issue, and they fixed it the next day, and they were very easy to deal with about the billing and everything. So they definitely need to establish more of a footprint, and I think they'd be better set off. So that's my video, guys. I love them both. We use them both almost every day. Oh, and if you're thinking about getting a skid steer, mini skid steer, articulating anything, if you're in tree work, don't you dare buy a root grapple. I am so sick of guys buying root grapples and wondering why their crews aren't making production. A root grapple is not for tree work. You know what a root grapple is for? It's for roots, stumps, rocks, random bull crap that you'll find at the yard or a demolition job. That's what root grapples are for. When we go chase storms, a lot of guys have full-size skid steers with root grapples. I will hold more brush in that Ditch Witch grapple than any full-size skid steer root grapple. In that free spinning BMG, I will hold more brush than any full-size skid steer grapple. Because you know why? I saw it happen. We had to move some big piles for the big grapple trucks, and there was a bunch of oak limbs, and the full-size skid steers could not get a good bite down. Yeah, they got a bunch of material smashed in that bucket, and right as they pick it up, all that crap just fell out. So those things bite down so close that they don't let nothing fall. And then we can also lift logs up and out of backyards. We could go over a fence and drop the grapple down, pick stuff up over the fence. We could feed the chippers. We could feed logs. You can put the scoops on, pick up stump grindings. Like, do not buy I understand the root grapple is cheaper, guys. I understand it's only $1,200, $1,500, but I'm telling you, they are not for tree work, and they will not help you make more money. They're going to be a hindrance. What happens if you got to go through a gate and I could drag a 50-foot long tree through a gate with this grapple. You're going to have to cut that. Yeah, you're not going to do it with a root grapple, I'm telling you. So please, don't buy a root grapple. Get a branch manager or a TNA grapple. They're both very good. So